want to
Okay.
know, why do you think Nigerian men or West African men love Ugandan ladies? Yes, I need to know.
Okay.
I need to know.
You as a West African, what would you say? Then I think I'll add on what you have to say.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're West African.
yes.
For you, would you want to marry from Uganda?
I've not had the experience of dating a Ugandan lady.
So you cannot really justify.
Yes.
Okay. So I personally have dated West Africans. I've actually dated outside my nationality and even race. But one thing that I learned, like, because you hear what people have to say, and sometimes when you interact with Nigerian ladies yourself, when you see them on a personal level, sometimes you weigh and you're like, oh, we are different in this way. Now, I think the first thing will be sometimes fire and fire cannot be together. Now, when you look at East Africans on a general, we are quite soft. Like, we are quite on the soft side. When you look at West Africans on a general, they're kind of on the other side. Now, for men, I believe for any man, there is no man in this world who doesn't want a woman that makes them feel like a king.
Okay.
Most men want to have their ego fed. Because even in East Africa, mostly, I'll come back to Uganda because that's where I was raised. Looking at my own mother, my dad being a Tanzanian man, he's still married from Uganda. One thing he cites is the very respectful. And that's something we grow up being trained to be. For example, if let's say you're from the central, girls are taught to kneel for elders. Girls have someone we call sengas, those are aunties. And a girl is trained how to treat a man right from when they're young.
Yeah.
Everything we would do, my aunties will be like, but who will marry you if you do that? You know why? Some things we have to send the patients to bring, like almonds and stuff. So they bring the real almonds.
And they said they're allergic to almond.
No, they test from there. So we'll like crush them, get a reagent, and try it like on the lips and stuff like different. You first put like on the lips, you see if there is a reaction. If there is no reaction, then they try to put it on the tongue. Yeah.
But people die from that.
From what?
From allergies.
Yeah, people do die, but sometimes it depends on what exactly we are looking at. Because some of the things are basic, you know, like dust mites. These are everywhere. They're more like in the air, like they're everywhere. So
some people are allergic to it.
Yes.
And people are allergic to eggs also.
Exactly. That's a common actually allergy.
And nuts.
Yeah, nuts, eggs, then milk. Those are some of the commonest. And nuts, it's actually they're allergic to like specific nuts. Yeah, commonly. I've seen they're very I think some of the allergens we don't even have them back home.
I don't think we have any.
No, we do.
We do?
Yeah,
Like
we
which
do.
one?
Like some people are allergic to things like pistachio. People are allergic to almonds. People are allergic to tree nuts. Yeah.
It's when I started to get exposed to white people that I get to hear about allergy. I cannot eat this. I cannot eat this because I'll get a reaction. They do get a reaction that their face gets swollen or...
They get different reactions. It just goes back to your skin, like to your body, because an allergy is literally a body's response. It's usually your own body trying to respond to something and activating like a protective response. Like, for example, it recognizes them as a foreign body. That's why when you look at some people, there is a way some people go on to train their bodies to literally get used to these allergens. Like, let's say you will trick the body. You start introducing it small by small, like usually, after being like on medication. Then afterwards, after exposing your body to it, for some people it could work out and the body starts getting used to it. And for some people it could just become extreme. Yeah, but the reactions depend. Some people will get like swollen faces. Yes, people will get hives on the skin. Some people will itch. Actually, some people get into shock. Some people could have elevated blood pressure, elevated heart rate. Yeah, but it just goes back to what exactly and how exposed these people are. Yeah.
Wow. Because I know that if you tell some of our parents that there are people that cannot eat some certain foods, then you tell them eggs, soya mix or something like that. I don't think so. Most of them would believe it.
But I feel like, no, I still feel like it goes back to upbringing and that bit of whereby if you trick the body, you know, something called adaptation. I think the reason in Africa we don't tend to see ourselves with allergens so much and things like that, I think it's because we are raised in an environment whereby you don't have to, like, parents tend not to let you stop what you say you're allergic to. So your body tends to get used to it. And over time, you're good. I think that's the thing. That's how they condition our bodies. And also the other thing is I think the way our bodies are generally built.
But most of the Africans that you've seen with allergies, are they people that have traveled or they were born in Africa, they were born and raised in Africa?
Now, I will shock you. I've not seen maybe because I've been there a short time. I have not seen Africans
that was born and raised in Africa have
no, I've not seen them.
Right?
Like what I can say is maybe I've seen intolerances. I personally, when I left Uganda and I traveled to Dubai, at first it was all good, like milk. Because, you know, back in Uganda, you take milk. Like my grandma, you'd have milk fresh from the cow. They'll just boil the milk because you're trying to kill off the bacteria. And you drink this milk. We literally don't even want to put in water because we have a saying at home that it's like you're drinking colored water if you put in water. So there is a type, the packed milk and all the different types. We would drink all that and I would never have a problem. But when I came to Dubai, it's like whenever I drank milk, mostly if it's not boiled, it gave me issues. Like I was bloated. I would literally have issues in my tummy. Then over time, I stopped taking the milk. Then I tried boiling it and it was okay. Then later on, I kind of left it because sometimes you don't really want to boil it according to what you're going to take. Like sometimes you're running. So I resorted to doing laban because the yogurt never gave me problems. Then later on, I discovered, I think I was starting to get intolerant to lactose, but it was only the milk that I found here. Because when I had milk back home, it was okay. But when I had the milk here, I had issues. So what I did, I actually just did a reset because I used to take milk. So what I did was a reset for my stomach. I just did a detox.
That's what I do. If I did a detox, I took milk only.
Yeah, you kind of get back. Yeah, so that's what I just did actually. And after doing a detox, I realized I kind of take it, but I don't drink it, but I usually blend it with like oats. I use it when I'm making my proteins. Yeah, I do it.
All right. Guys, I have an amazing guest called Ruth. She's from Uganda, and I am a Nigerian. So we're here to discuss. I made a video with a guest and a Nigerian guest, a lady, and got so many reactions from our Ugandan ladies. So most of them wants to talk about it on the same platform that the lady talked about it, and maybe get to correct some things that they said was a lie or that she said wrong, something like that, so that the same audience we know exactly what is going on, or how will I say it? So what exactly got you angry on that video, Ruth?
I'm not really, I will not say I'm really angry, but I think I'm happier if people just knew us in a more honest, like, you know, a more transparent way, rather than saying things they're not sure of about us. You know, being a Ugandan, yes, I'm half Ugandan, half Tanzanian.
Okay.
My dad is Tanzanian. My mom is Ugandan. But I have seen a number of Nigerian content creators. You know, I feel like some people are using Ugandans now for clout.
Lady or guys?
Even guys, like we have different people creating content. But I haven't seen a negative content, like a guy coming out negatively. But I've seen the ladies coming out very negatively. We've seen so many telling us how Nigerian men take on Ugandan girls because they're so cheap. They pass off as stupid, I'll use the word. And we've seen many telling us they're not going to marry us. It's a matter of people dating you and, you know, having you for fun in the UAE. Then when they go back home, they'll go back. Actually, I've also had a few Ugandan content creators who are actually negative.
Ladies or guys?
Ladies and guys, no, this is a funny part. So I actually feel like, I think, to me, as someone who has seen like all sides, I feel like I don't see why people should come out as negative on some things that really don't bother them and they literally don't affect them. Like, for example, when I see a lady coming out and saying that Ugandan girls are dated because they pass off as cheap, and then someone says we don't like money. No, that's a lie.
Someone said we don't like money. Ugandan ladies don't like money.
Ugandan girls love money.
Everybody likes money.
No, we love money.
Okay, but everybody likes money because everybody has needs.
Exactly.
And it's only money you use to meet those needs, right?
Yeah.
So everybody likes money. That is why everybody's working.
Exactly. And no, actually, then there is that bit where they say we're cheaper. The point is, I feel like people just have to understand you don't have to call someone cheaper because you feel like they're not reaching your personal standards. We have to understand these fingers are not equal. You know, everyone has a certain range of a livelihood that they can live in. You know, and when I look at the Nigerian men and the Ugandan girls around, like let's say here, to begin with, the biggest percentage of Ugandan girls we have in UAE, I'm not going to pass off as mean, but the biggest percentage we have are semi-literate. Okay, I don't know if you get me when I say that. Like these are people who have gone to school, like people have gone up to like college, and people have gone up to maybe secondary school, and we have a category that literally just ran away from home, and somehow someone promised them a good job. And like, you know what? I'm studying. I would rather go and start earning rather than finishing school. And somehow they ended up here. Now, we have this category, and it's the biggest percentage in the UAE. Ugandans are not very many by population. Uganda as a country has a very high percentage of refugees and foreigners compared to the actual local people. So let's say if we look at a percentage of 100, and because the biggest percentage of educated Ugandans literally don't move to UAE. The biggest percentage is in the UK. Being that the country is, you know, made of few people, if let's say 50% of the country has gone to the UK, it means you have about 50% left. Now, if the 50% you have has children, it has like women, like grown people, you know, all these people, and then it has this other like 30% that is semi-literate that have moved here. So you will have about maybe a 20% left back home. So the girls around here will live according to something that is better than what they would live back home. Because apparently, let's say if I left Uganda and I had the potential of having, let's say, a boyfriend or a man that could give me, let's say, 1,000 dirhams. When I left Uganda at the level of 1,000 dirhams, when I come to Dubai, honestly, someone will not impress me with 1,000 dirhams. They will only impress me with more than 1,000 dirhams because I'm in Dubai, meaning my life is even going to be more expensive than it was in Uganda. Now, if a girl who came from Uganda, she ran away from college, she just came out from school, This girl has not even been given, let's say, 500 dirhams from Uganda. If she came to UAE and someone gave her 300 dirhams, I think that's okay for her. Remember, we are looking at a currency. We're looking at currency differences. I'm not sure of the Nigerian currency, the exchange rate, but I think it's better than the Ugandan UAE rate.
Okay.
So when you look at 1,000 dirhams, and it's close to an equivalence of 1 million in Ugandan money. So if a Ugandan girl has a man here who can give her, let's say, 300 dirhams, and for her 300 dirhams can do something back home for her, well, I feel like she's not being cheap according to her standards.
Yeah.
It's actually okay. And then I've seen a category of Ugandan girls that are apparently attacking these girls that are dating Nigerian men, citing they're cheap, they're sleeping with these men. And I think someone talked about something like, still something related to, being cheap and all these things. And when I look at those girls talking, apparently, I would support this Ugandan girl dating a Nigerian that apparently supports her, because some of these girls don't have jobs. They don't have a visa. Someone is trying to help them out.
So they're being beaten.
Pardon?
They're being beaten.
The ones that are being bitter, they don't know what state these other girls are in, So some girls will say, okay, fine, some may have jobs. And they'll be attacking these ones because they're dating Nigerian guys. And then they're like, you're dating these Nigerians, why are you dating them? You'd rather come and get a job. Sometimes you don't know someone's story. Dubai is a funny place. When we all come in, we all assume you're going to get a job. We all came in different ways. Some people came from the beginning. It was straight. They made it out. When some people came, things didn't work out as expected.
Yeah.
So some of these girls are stranded. They meet a guy. He's literally okay with paying for where she sleeps. He pays bills. He buys meals. He takes care of her generally. I mean, some of these guys have actually helped these girls secure visas. So honestly, this Ugandan girl that is trying to how should I even call the word? The one attacking these girls, apparently one maybe has a job. It doesn't have like some of the best jobs, okay? So you find this girl, yes, she may have a job, okay, fine. But this same girl sometimes is actually dating a Ugandan man that is apparently married. So she's a side chick in Dubai.
And being bitter.
And being bitter about a Ugandan girl who is dating a Nigerian man somewhere. I understand, usually most of them, they'll say they have wives back home, but if I don't know, then it's not my problem.
Yeah, your own is say whatever you want to say, but don't be insulting.
Exactly. And why do you care? Okay, so what if this guy doesn't support her? Are you going to support her? No, you're not.
Saying I was talking with the director Basti, say, if it was me that people are talking about Nigeria like this, and I don't like it, I'll be also creating content concerning it. Right?
Yeah.
You should be able to say something. Like, where I'm from, you cannot do something to us and we'll leave you. If you do something online about Nigerians, they're going to fight back.
Yeah, I know.
How it is, right?
Well, they will bully you.
If people are doing something, calling Ugandan ladies bad name or whatever, you see it, you're a content creator, you're always on the TikTok. What are you doing? Only consuming content? If you see something you don't like, you do something about it. Don't just keep quiet. Just like you kept last week, Saturday, I also had a lady, Ugandan lady, because of this video.
That's interesting.
Yeah, 2 days ago we did a video about this. So people should say something, get out there. Okay, I don't care about this thing you're saying about us, but don't be you can say whatever you want to say respectively, right? So don't look down on some people or say something bad. That one is actually reasonable or the way to go about it.
Yeah.
But another thing that I get to find out is the girls that are coming to react on this video, they are not actually angry about that video. They're actually angry about the video that she has done already. You understand?
Yeah.
But it looks like, okay, since she continues to do video concerning Uganda ladies, I think we should just say something about it. You understand?
Yeah, but I think she should try to get some other content because we are going to a point whereby people are going to report that account. She will lose her content. Like she has really tried to pull, because as far as I'm seeing now, it's not like she's trying to, like, why would you choose Uganda? More so at this time, you're using Uganda for clout. You know, more so when you're sarcastic. Like, I personally don't feel, I may not feel offended as such, because for me, unless your opinion pays my bills, sometimes I don't really care, you know. But then I don't like having to walk out on the streets and I have to hide my passport, you know. I can't imagine my life without being a Ugandan.
Why would you have a passport?
No, what I'm trying to say is there is a picture. Yeah, there is a picture. Someone stands up and creates a certain picture of where you're from. We've had all this, like, people sexualize us a lot because of some of these very stories these girls talk about, you know, and then people give you a certain picture before they even literally get to know you.
Yeah.
For example, I have seen 1, 2, 3 words, everyone will talk about water. And I'm like,
they're always going there.
I'm like, do we have to do that? Like,
but is it true?
What? No, it's something I'll say. It's like, I think it's how we are.
Why do you think Nigerian men love Ugandans?
Love Ugandan girls. Personal, like on a personal point of view, you know, fire and fire usually don't tend to mix.
Okay.
And we are talking, most people actually are looking at Nigerians and Ugandans just, you know, on the current thing, because I think we have social media now. But I grew up in a place where we had so many Nigerians marrying Ugandans in my own family. Like, I have cousins right now here in Dubai. One of my cousin sisters is here and she has a Nigerian. Back home, I know a couple, like a distant aunt, who is married to a Nigerian. They have kids. Like,
social media we'll get to know.
We just got to know it now.
People that are not on social media, they don't bother about what we're bothering about.
Yeah, but like the thing is, it has been there. Like, people have literally, and not even just Nigerians. I think growing up, there is something that I used to see so much. Like, different people used to come and try to marry from Uganda.
But I will go back to my question. I want to know, why do you think Nigerian men or West African men love Ugandan ladies? Yes, I need to know.
Okay. You as a West African, what would you say? Then I think I'll add on what you have to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're West African.
Yes.
For you, would you want to marry from Uganda?
I've not had the experience of dating a Ugandan lady.
So you cannot really justify.
Yes.
Okay. So I personally have dated West Africans. I've actually dated outside my nationality and even race. But one thing that I learned, like, because you hear what people have to say, and sometimes when you interact with Nigerian ladies yourself, when you see them on a personal level, sometimes you weigh and you're like, oh, we are different in this way. Now, I think the first thing will be, sometimes fire and fire cannot be together. Now, when you look at East Africans on a general, we are quite soft. Like, we are quite on the soft side. When you look at West Africans on a general, they're kind of on the other side. Now, for men, I believe for any man, there is no man in this world who doesn't want a woman that makes them feel like a king.
Okay.
Most men want to have their ego fed. Because even in East Africa, mostly, I'll come back to Uganda because that's where I was raised. Looking at my own mother, my dad being a Tanzanian man, he's still married from Uganda. One thing he cites is they're very respectful, and that's something we grow up being trained to be. For example, if let's say you're from the central, girls are taught to kneel for elders. Girls have someone we call sengas, those are aunties, and a girl is trained how to treat a man
Yeah.
right from when they're young.
Yeah.
Everything we would do, my aunties would be like, but who will marry you if you do that, you know?
Yeah.
So from
We do
childhood.
that in Nigeria.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah.
I didn't know that.
No, we do that also. You'll be doing something and your mom will ask you, is this what you're going to do in your husband's house? Yeah.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
My mom said that to my sisters a lot.
Okay.
So it's basically your mothers will be training you to behave in
Okay.
your husband's house.
Yeah.
Because most of our parents don't like you coming back or leaving your husband's house.
Exactly.
Not now. Everybody wants to divorce.
Yeah.
Before, your mother will say, make sure that your husband will not send you away.
Okay. And the other thing is, I think naturally, I'll not say Nigerian girls are aggressive, but on a general, even when you find the boys, when you look at Ugandan men, it's rare to find them fight. It's rare to find them like violent. So I feel like, according to me, I've seen a side whereby, because fire comes to water, when these two personalities meet, you know, one will be burning, one will be cooling the fire, you know. So if a Nigerian man comes to a girl and his personality and her personality are all fierce, they kind of clash. But the moment he keeps meeting this girl and then she's just cooling it, you know, because this is how girls are trained back home. I don't know how girls are trained in Nigeria, because as far as I know is she will stand up to him, he will fire, she will fire back.
No,
I don't know.
I said this in Nigeria, right? You have to know how to stand up.
Okay.
You have to know how to hustle. Like, you must stand up to do something if you don't want to go back hungry.
Okay.
Right? It's like the environment is always hostile.
I actually kind of thought of this too, because
the environment is always so...
It's competitive, like very highly.
Yeah.
You have to fight your way to achieve something and to be something.
You must.
Yes. Now, which is, I think, a bit different from where we are from. It's like in Uganda, I don't know how it comes to be this way, but I think it's because of how people are social and naturally warm. It's like growing up, we always had maybe the weather, the climate as well, enabled people to always have abundance of like different things. Like if I look at my grandparents' story, my granddad, how he ended up settling in Uganda. He did not have plans of settling in Uganda. He was a Baba surgeon. I don't know if you know those people.
Baba surgeon.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of them?
No.
Okay, like when you look at history of medicine, where people started from, they're like, you know those local doctors in the village?
Yes.
They're not from the hospital, but they do
When
things
they
like...
retire, when they leave.
They do like hospital stuff, but they're not officially trained in the hospital. For example, they would have like syringes, needles, but they boil these things.
We still have it.
You still have it?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting to know.
When you're sick, they will call that doctor to come and take care of you.
The ones in the village. Like exactly. Yeah, so he was like that. So he used to move. He used to come and sell medicine to Uganda from Tanzania. Now, when he used to come at that time, somehow he was hosted by a Ugandan. So he kept on having this client, you know, he kept on coming to. And then he was so warm, he was so welcoming. So this guy was, you know, he was pulled. Somehow he came, said, you know what, I'll try to buy land here. He made some money, saved up some money, bought some land. Then he was a guy of a good build, like he was strong, he's tall. The tribe I come from is, you know, with like, of course, you know, with African tribes, sometimes stereotypes, sometimes phenotypes, depending on exactly where you come from. So he was a guy who was a big, tall guy, and he's very energetic, so he could dig. So he got into agriculture later when he came. And he somehow got successful because he used to grow tobacco and bell peppers. I think the ones for paprika.
Bell pepper.
Yeah, so he used to export in most cases. So he kind of succeeded. So he bought a lot of land and he established himself. Then this guy who he bought from land and everything, became like a blood brother.
Mm.
This is actually how I tend to have a Ugandan name. I have a Ugandan surname, a Tanzanian surname, and then my
You have
Christian
two.
name. I have 3 names. Yeah, so I pass off as Namaganda. That is my Ugandan name. It's a clan name. Then I have Ruth, my Christian name, and then I have Mochirabula, which is my Tanzanian name.
Namaganda is the first name you put on the TikTok, right?
Yes, because I use that name. It's my Ugandan name. Then Ruth, then Mochirabula, my Tanzanian name. So it's something like that. Yeah, because we take a clan from this guy. But if you look at it backwards,
Yeah.
we didn't have a clan.
So there is no thing like when somebody bullies you. How do you handle bullying in your country? When somebody bullies the junior one, how do you handle it?
Bullying the junior one, sometimes it depends because I remember personally being bullied in school.
How do your parents handle it?
Now, this is a funny thing with Ugandan women. They're too peaceful that sometimes it's not fair. Because I reported to my mom. Of course, most times a child will report to the mom first. So I reported to my mom. This boy keeps bullying me. They keep bullying me at school. And then she used to say, because she's so Christian, she'd say, pray for him, pray for him, pray for him. God will change his heart. And then, it kept on going on. And I told her, I think I'm tired of going to school. Then when I told her that, she sat with my dad. They talked about it. Now, my dad had to go to school, and then they had to report it to the admin. Well, they reached the admin, they brought the boy's parents, like they called them as well. So my parents were called to sit. They talked about it, but it literally didn't change much. So my mom still say, we just have to pray, or they have to change me at school. But there was nothing like a physical, like alteration. No, my mom wouldn't support that.
So in Nigeria,
Okay.
if somebody bullies you, you learn how to fight back.
Yeah.
Or you will come home and your parents will beat you because you did not fight back.
Are you for real?
Yes. Ask anybody. Your parents will get intervene for you if the person is a senior person.
Okay.
Your mates cannot beat you outside and you cry back home. It's not going to happen anyway.
Okay.
It's not going to happen anyway. You will learn how to fight back. This is why when you talk shit to a fellow Nigerian, you guys, if it gets to fighting, you guys are fighting there. Yeah.
No, that's new.
A guy, ask around. A guy, a girl, unless it's your senior.
Okay.
That beats you.
And you can't fight.
Yeah, then your parents have to do something about it.
Okay.
Yeah. And if your senior bullies you and you get to find out, when you get home, you are eating the big portion. This is serious.
Okay.
And that is how it is.
That's
so
interesting.
Everybody learn how to defend. I don't know. Everybody does it in Nigeria. It's kind of the culture. You cannot bully anybody. And they will leave you. Unless it's your senior, that means it's not a bully.
Okay.
If your senior is constantly beating you, they're going to take it as another thing. And if I'm somebody that has brothers, it's going to be a crazy fight.
Okay.
It's going to be a crazy fight. I'm going to call my brothers or my village people, and it turns to a big fight. If you are a senior,
okay,
and you're beating the junior, so nobody is going to take it. It's going to be a serious stuff.
Okay.
So you have to learn how to fight your mates, unless your junior, and they will not encourage you to beat the junior one. So if you're somebody that is beating the junior one, nobody is going to like it.
Okay, so no one will support you to beat younger ones.
Yes, nobody.
Okay,
they will
because it's like bullying.
To defend.
Yeah, the younger ones.
Yeah, and if it's your mate, you have to learn how to fight back, or you will still come home and get cane on your Buddhas. So that is how it is. I think this is why most of our sisters, when something happened, they want to speak. But everybody is always complaining about it, but I didn't see it as anything. Yeah,
okay.
Because if you talk the way you're not supposed to talk, you get it sorted out. This is how I see it. If you're doing something you're not supposed to do, that means you are inviting a bigger hand.
Okay.
I mean, to my sisters, right? So that means you're inviting a bigger hand to handle you rightly the way you're supposed to be handled and everything. That's it.
Yeah, but I think we naturally Africans generally, we all try to fight back. But the difference will be, how do we fight back? Because honestly, yes, I was bullied. I talked to my parents, but my parents would never support me to fight back generally. And in my capability, fighting, like for girls mostly, girls were not supposed to fight right from childhood.
They're not
You know,
supposed to.
we know girls don't fight. Like, this is something we have in culture. My mom used to say, I don't know if you've ever heard about a rebel called Connie.
No.
We have a rebel.
Red ball.
A rebel.
Okay.
Who used to be like in the, I think in the Congo Basin, like near Uganda, there in the forest. He used to, there was some rebels, it's a group, but it was headed by a guy called Connie, since we were young. So usually my mom used to say, if you want to fight, go and fight with Connie. Because you feel you're so energetic, go and fight with Connie. But like, it's somehow, I think, how we are. It's kind of, and you don't really see so many people fighting in the community. Like,
in Uganda?
Yeah, like
No,
we
in-
don't see it so much. Like, we don't even see it so much.
For 1 hour, you see somebody digging it out somewhere.
Because I know, like, we used to have, those children fights with like my cousin sister mostly, because it's like we kind of like follow each other. She's like 1 year younger than me. But then I remember very well the last time we actually tried to fight. And what were we fighting over? We're fighting over cups. Like, you have customized cups as children. And then you're washing dishes. And then somehow she puts your cup near the edge. And you're like, can you please move it to inside the, the bucket? And she's like, no, I won't. And you try to fight with her. You're like, I'm going to beat you. Then you go on her. The next thing you know is my mom would kill you. Like, you are beaten so badly. She'll beat you. Why are you fighting?
No, because of siblings, right?
Yeah, but even like the thing is, they don't want to see. Usually it's very, very hard to find people fighting. To be honest, like, this is the kind of like upbringing I have. To the extent that even in homes, it's very, very rare. A typically well-raised Ugandan woman would not even fight the husband. If, let's say, even if you cheated.
No, in my place, they're always looking for trouble.
No, this is a funny thing.
It's looking for your trouble.
Okay.
Yeah, and you have to make for fun. Sometimes it's for fun.
Really?
Yeah. There is something we call inter-house sports.
Okay. I think that's...
They do in school.
Okay.
This, yeah. So some school will come from their school. It's just a group. We're going in this inter-house sports. It's just to go there and fight, look for trouble. Yeah. Look for trouble. Maybe looking for someone's girlfriend or saying shit to them, something
That's
like that.
so much.
Yeah, just look, but it's for fun.
That's not fair. Like, really?
So
we live with people who look for trouble.
No, it's for fun. How do you grow up if you don't get to fight as a young man?
People grow up without fighting.
What do?
They live, they just go, they work, they do different things, they get a hobby. Yeah, they do things. Because, like, to be honest, like, personally, I have grown up with, I thank God for this. I kind of had chance to grow up in a functional family. But when I look at my dad, I don't think...
How do you see a guy with scars?
With scars? Sometimes maybe I'll think maybe the person suffered. Maybe they were beaten. Thieves found. Maybe they were beaten. Maybe they fell, as children. Because I have one of my cousin brothers who had so many scars growing up because he was very stubborn. And like, he'll be on trees, he'll fall, and so he has so many, but not necessarily fights. Like, there's so many ways a boy could have issues, actually. He would be trying to play.
Dislocation. It's kind of normal.
He literally had a broken leg, not even just a dislocation. Because I remember he had, they had to put on him a plastic leg, like a prosthetic, just to try to put back his leg. And he didn't even want to wear it. So he was very stubborn.
Mostly people I know, I'm not even talking about my village, I'm talking about from my own family. Up to 8 guys in my family had this dislocation. I have also.
because
Most
of
people, no,
fighting,
it's not fighting.
playing,
Yeah, it kind of getting used to
football,
doing things. Yes,
yeah,
just
climbing.
highlight. But I think it's okay.
No,
You
it's
know,
okay for boys. I feel like it's
if
also fine.
what I've heard from a lady is from a Ugandan lady is that when they're around Nigerian men, they feel like they're around men.
Now, this is something I personally would have said because I have dated like outside, like I've dated different races. Actually, my test is either black or white, but white usually comes in as I don't want to use the word last option, but it's not my top. Like if I was supposed to have to choose one, I would choose a black man, 100%, because I grew up with a normal dad. My dad was a man in the house, so I don't want to be a man. I have to be a woman.
Yeah.
And the only way I'm going to be a woman is I'm expecting to find a man that is masculine enough. So when you look at West African men, I think because of the nature of like upbringing, like you said, it's a world where people have to struggle to fit, like it's survival, like for the fittest. It's most of they come out, you guys come out like top notch when it comes to masculinity. It's true. Like when we compare you guys and then I compare the East African guys, most times 100% you would choose a West African. No, you would 100%. When it comes to masculinity, yes, because not only do these men usually exert like their dominance, but most of them they play the role of like provision. You're someone's woman and you're not going to do 50-50. Now, I'm not saying Ugandan men do that, but the current generation we are having of boys in Uganda, the majority are starting to get to that side whereby they want to be sisters, Yeah, I call it sisters because if a man wants a woman to provide, then I feel like you've lost your manliness, because what makes you a man? How can you be a king if you cannot provide a kingdom? You give me a kingdom, I be the queen in that kingdom, and I'll make you a king. This is what I grew up seeing, and this is what I'm returning. Like, I cannot, for me, like, I can only give you what you work for in my life. I can only give you a spot that you earn. You're going to date, okay, some will say they just don't have money and all these things. I understand. Sometimes things just don't go the way we want.
Yeah.
But I would rather someone dates downwards for men. Date downwards so that you're content. You're within your means.
And
Ladies date upwards, to avoid, some of these things. Like, if let's say someone earns around 4,000 dirhams as a guy, I don't see why you're dating a girl of 4,000 dirhams or 6,000 dirhams. Why do you go there? Date a girl of 2,000 dirhams, 1,000 dirhams, so that if you give, actually, you can even go to 500 dirhams. Why? If you give her 200 dirhams, if you give her 500 dirhams of what you have, she'll be content. She will work within that and she will give you actually even bigger. Now, if you get 6,000, then you can have someone of 4,000. But for a girl, if you are going to be at 6,000, then I wouldn't advise you to go to 4,000. Because the more you go to 4,000, you're going to compromise, or you are going to be forced to literally look for the other money, and then you're going to be straining. Sometimes you're going to struggle with having to respect him. Sometimes you're going to struggle with the work-life balance, because you're trying to make ends meet somehow.
Yeah.
You're here and there,
Yeah.
But in most cases, if you try to date upwards as a girl, you have high chances. Naturally, women, like, as per culture that we come from, we are made in such a way that we will always look forward to a man you can rely on, So if I can rely on you whenever I need something and I call you, you can do it for me. In most cases, I don't have a reason to look elsewhere. And this is something also I think that my Nigerian sisters are lacking contentment. I've seen some of
I was
them.
about to ask you that.
Yes, they're not, I feel like they lack contentment. Like, even when they have a lot, you realize that they want more, which is okay. It's actually good to be someone who aims higher. But then sometimes you have to look within. Which circle are you trying to look for this? Now, this is something I think we are taught from childhood. We are quite content people. Like, if, let's say, for example, personally right now, let's say I work. I meet a guy and he works. Yeah, like I said, we are going to look at someone. I'm going to look at someone who is above me. Now, we both have a job. He has a life. I have a life. Maybe, I'm not sure, maybe he has a family. He has parents to support back home. I have maybe parents to support back home. Okay, I'm not really at that stage. But you may find that he may earn, let's say, maybe he earns 10K. And maybe I earn, let's say, 7K. Now, if I earn 7, he earns 10, and then he still has to support me. He has to give me upkeep. It means that at some point we are going to end up with me having more money, you know? Now, we are naturally not greedy people. This is what I know about generally Ugandan girls that are raised like I was raised. You don't have the greed. If he gives me, let's say, if on the 10 he gives me, let's say, 2,000, I realize he has around, he has like 8 left. Now I have around 9 because I added on my 7. Now, what I will do with this 2,000, we naturally are not very extravagant on like the way we live. Because to begin with, let's say you look at how we maintain ourselves. Ugandan girls rarely have like a certain, luxurious lifestyle because we don't live for people. Ugandans are made in a way that we live for us, and we are so just used to being happy. The community is usually in a way that people just have to help each other somehow. And we're used to living within smaller budgets and more, I think, cheap, like more of a cheap way of living somehow. When I say cheap, for example, I'll want to do my hair. Okay.
Is it cheap that if you're contented with what you have?
Pardon?
Is it cheap that you are contented with what you have?
Yes, that usually it's cheaper if you're actually contented at some point. Because, for example, if I have, I've seen my sisters, on the other hand, like even if she has hair, because actually this is something that I admire about my Nigerian sisters most times, West African girls generally, they kind of have very good hair. Their hair genes are so good, which is something we don't commonly have like in East Africa. You find that like right now, if you look at my hairline, it's too East African, So our hair genes are not so good, but you will find that I'll live off my natural hair as much as I can. We don't have a thing whereby you have to be so plastic, like we are content, You can just walk out that place. You see so many Ugandan girls with their natural puffs. You'll see them with corners, You'll see them with braids that are like, I think 3 months old. Like they don't care. And then they keep thinking, we keep doing this thing also whereby people keep changing the money back to the home currency. Then you look at it and you're like, okay, so I'm doing braids of 300 dirhams. Like that is 300K in Uganda.
Yeah.
Why would I do braids of 300K? No, like she won't do it. So she will carry on. And somehow we live on. But you will find my sisters on the other hand. She will do it for 500.
And logo that represents.
Exactly. And they like to look good sometimes. And I feel like some of them, they even surpass their own means.
And be able to charge that guy the money they cannot afford.
Exactly. And then they also want to, there is a certain picture, they like to have, like a certain picture they like to impress.
Yeah.
They like, okay, yeah, fine. It's nice to look, there is a saying where girls say you should look like what you want people to get you to be. But I also want people usually to remember that sometimes it's not even about what you look like. Sometimes it's your luck. And sometimes your personality.
But I also think that they're doing like us. like the guys.
Okay.
Yeah, because most of what our sisters are doing are exactly what we are doing. But because they are ladies, it looks like,
It
okay,
looks so
no,
obvious.
you guys cannot do this. But you cannot, they say people are what they grow up in the environment you are, right? But they grow up with us and they grow up in Nigeria, and this is what they see every day. My sisters in the house sees how the guys play. They sees how we talk. They see the kind of things we talk about. So you cannot stay in a house with a guy who behaves like this for like 16, 18, 20 years. And it cannot be part of you a little bit. You understand? That is why I don't complain about them anyway. I don't complain about my sisters. I love them.
The way they are, that's it.
However they behave, it doesn't even cross my mind. It doesn't even cross my mind. Just like I said before, if they behave the way I think is getting out of hand, I can put them in place. So it never crosses my mind because it doesn't even bother me. So I also ask most guys that complain about this, that. The only thing I'm seeing right now I don't like about them is the rate they are divorcing. That is the only thing I don't like about them. It's just like, okay, I can do this on my own. Okay, divorce. And if they have not gotten married, but if they have not married before, when they get to 30 to 35, they become so much worried. Now they become desperate.
Okay.
Yeah, but if they've married before and
Then they leave it.
It's just crazy. This is the part I don't like about them.
Yeah, but is there some reason that you're kind of seeing that is causing the higher rate of divorce that side?
I don't know. It's because they want to be like white people.
Okay.
They think it's a good thing that if they continue like this, birth rate is dropping in the Western countries. Birth rate.
Yeah.
So if they continue going at that trajectory that they are now, the first place is going to hit in Africa will be Nigeria.
Okay. Yeah, but I think it may take some time because the population is quite.
It may take some time, but
yeah, it will still take a toll on the younger generation.
It will still happen. It will still happen because it has happened to China.
So you literally have so many old people and less younger people coming up. Yeah, which is something that Uganda now I think beats the rest of the world.
Nigeria has so much younger people.
Oh.
Nigeria has so much younger people, but the thing is, 80% of them are masculine. So it is hard for the sisters to do whatever they want, just like the Western parts.
Wait, you said 80% are?
Masculine.
Masculine.
Yeah, the guys.
The guys.
Yes.
Okay. So what is the biggest, do you guys have more women or you have more men in Nigeria?
We have more men.
More men?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think my West African sisters shouldn't be worried. The ones complaining that West African men are taking East African girls. If you have more men, then there is enough for everyone.
But nobody wants to be settled with a toxic woman.
Okay, yeah, I think I get it.
Yeah, just like you said before, right? If you can treat your man like a queen, a king,
yeah,
then that is all everybody wants.
Yeah.
Is it okay to say that you're soft as a girl or as a lady?
Yeah, it's okay.
It's okay?
Because it's ideally for me, like I feel like it's the normal. Like you're supposed to be soft with your man. You don't, even if you're a very hard person like outside, because we may be like, I could be, yes, I'm Ugandan, but then the kind of world we are in, like we live in like right now, the hustling world, you have to harden because you have to have your goals achieved.
I mean,
you have to work. Yeah, but then when you get back home, get rid of that side, you have to stop, like, let's say you have to stop your hardness at the door and then get into the house and be a woman. Yeah, the only time I personally stay hard in my, like, let's say in my relationships is when someone tries to treat me the other way. If he is not playing his part as a man, then I don't have a reason to reward him as a man. I don't reward bad behavior. If he's doing his part, then honestly, I'm not an unappreciative person. No. Like, I don't, for sure, I wasn't raised that way. No.
Okay. Okay, I think you'll still be traveling back to,
Basha.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's kind of a 30 minutes driving, right? 30 minutes drive?
40.
40
45.
plus traffic.
Yeah. But I think the traffic is less now, like going back.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. I would say thank you for joining us, and I hopefully you will come back again.
Yeah, maybe. If we have a time like
Because we like a feminine lady.
oh
Yeah, we like
what
everybody
do you mean?
likes, and we like to get them around us for most people to see what we're talking about. Because it's not every lady. I don't think. I've also had a guest that I said that she's soft. She got angry, and she told me also that I'm soft. I said, okay, you cannot tell me that I'm soft, but I think it's a natural thing to tell a lady that she's soft.
Okay.
So I think it's a
Thank
natural
you.
thing to tell a lady that she's soft. I think it's complimentary. She said, no, it's not.
But it's normal.
I don't know, people have their own understanding, and it's okay if that is working for them. Some ladies now want to be guy. It's okay. Yeah, it's okay. I
Can they
don't know.
pee while they stand?
Hmm?
Can they pee while
No, I don't
standing?
know what made them to choose that path. So that's why I said it's okay for them. Life experience. You don't know the experience someone had.
Yeah, but however much, like you cannot, I'm still going to be a woman. I was born that way. And I'll never change that unless you're going to be a trans. You're going to get hormones. That's what I'm saying. Can she pee as she's standing? She can't.
Alright.
Yeah.
Okay. That is okay. Ruth, thank you for coming.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Did
Thank you for
enjoy the
having me.
conversation?
Yeah, it was a cool one. Yeah, it's just it's a normal conversation.
You would like to come back?
Yeah, I'm fine. It's just maybe on days when I come, because commonly I come to Ariga. I do my hair from
Yeah, you
Ariga.
said that.
And so when I come, it works. But the thing is, if I have to come like on a weekday, then it's a bit
But I
disturbing.
think that you are not fair on your sisters, your Ugandan sisters.
How?
I think, when I post, there are some parts I will post and you get a lash.
No, I won't.
Hmm?
Because I'm being like, I don't think there is anything that wasn't
Yeah,
fair.
but there are
Like, what wasn't fair with
no,
them?
no. Like everything you said is what you've seen,
Mm,
right?
with my Ugandan
Yeah,
sisters.
but there are some people who don't like you telling them what you've seen.
Like how?
That is how life is.
No, but I personally, what I feel about what I said, it's like what, saying that they're semi-literate? No, it's true. Like they know, most of
Yeah.
them, they run away from school. Actually, this is the biggest percentage. It's not that parents didn't pay school fees. No, some literally ran away. And it's okay because it's not like everyone that is successful in this world literally went to school,
Yeah.
We all succeed in different ways. It's actually not a crime. But then this is one of the reasons why some of them can only get a certain amount of money, a certain amount of salary, and a certain treatment, in this place. It's because of that category. Like they stop at a certain level. Much as they want to cross over, they may not be able to
Crossover.
Yeah, because if you're semi-literate, then the thing still that there's some openings that you cannot cross. And the guys too, it's not just the girls, actually. We even have the guys. So, because most of the guys that are doing well, they're not in UAE. No, they're not. Most of the rich men are in Uganda. They're home. There is no reason as to why they should be here. Like, why should they be here if they can afford a good life? They're not here. Then, yeah, so it's not really in a bad way because it doesn't mean that, it's just, it's life sometimes. And by the way, some have made it out. You find a nanny who has been a nanny, and then maybe she's built herself a business back home from being a nanny. So some have made it out, that way. And yeah, it's not
Most
that
people
bad.
do. People who remember why they are here, they will.
Exactly, they've made it out. So people who focus, So I really don't look down on them. Actually, even when I meet them and I'm like, I know she didn't go to school much. I will not despise you because of that. I actually advise them to do certain things. There's some things you can try to do that can push you despite not going to school. For example, if you're a nanny and people keep looking for jobs for you for 1,200, And I know you can literally get a job of even 4,000, like the Filipino maids, like in Jumeirah, there are those jobs. I would, if I can, I've had cases where I helped my friends, like my Ugandan friends, where I helped them make better CVs, and literally pushed them, showed them how to look for these jobs themselves. And they got these jobs. You find them walking dogs now and they're just earning 4K. So it's a good deal. Yeah. So for me, it's not, it's just a matter of their mentality. But yeah, I was just trying to give a reason as to why some of these girls are comfortable with a very low, treatment. And this treatment is just being pictured, on the other hand, as us being cheap. So I was just trying to like show where they're coming from, the background. Because for sure, even if you're in Uganda, someone who has not gone like far with education, sometimes they'll not be able to access people that really give good money. Where are they going to find you? So even in Uganda, they're still not going to live a very good life. So it's the same thing as here. Yeah, that's more like it.
Yeah. I get your point. So we'd like to bring you back. We honestly like to bring you back. Because it's good to have a good vibe around and someone who tells it like it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you understand what I mean, right?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. Guys, if this is your first time coming across Vicinfluential, I ask you to subscribe, follow, share, do whatever you can to support our growing community, and also appreciate Ruth for coming. She traveled for 14 minutes to be here. Yes. So I think and I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for being on Vicinfluential.
Thank you.
See you next week on Vicinfluential.